You want the reward. You want the moment when everything finally makes sense, when the struggle pays off, when the pain turns into power, when the long nights of silent sacrifices and the unseen battles finally speak for themselves. But here's the truth. Most people try to ignore. You can't have the reward without the work. That's some of the work, not the easy work, not the work when you feel motivated, inspired, or ready. All of it, the kind of work that doesn't show up on social media, the kind of work that nobody applauds, the kind of work that happens when it's just you, your thoughts, your doubts, and your decision to keep going anyway. Because the reward you're chasing, it's not built in comfort, it's forged in pressure. Think about it. Steel doesn't become strong by accident. It becomes strong because it's tested, heated, stretched, and pushed beyond its limits. Diamonds don't shine because they're lucky. They shine because they survive unimaginable pressure. And you want to shine without the pressure. You want to rise without the resistance. You want to win without the war. It doesn't work like that. Every great story you've ever admired, every success, every breakthrough, every legend was built on a foundation of work that most people would quit before even starting. When Thomas Edison was trying to invent the light bulb, he didn't fail once or twice. He failed thousands of times, thousands. And yet he kept going, not because it was easy, but because he understood something most people don't. The reward isn't separate from the work, it's hidden inside it. Every failure, every setback, every delay, it wasn't stopping him, it was shaping him. And that's what you need to understand right now. The process you're trying to avoid is the process that's trying to build you. You keep looking at the finish line, wishing you were already there. But the finish line doesn't create greatness. The journey does. It's in the early mornings when your body is tired, but your vision is louder. It's in the late nights when everyone else is asleep, but you're still grinding. It's in the moments when quitting feels easier than continuing, and you choose to continue anyway. That's where the reward begins. Not when you arrive, but when you decide. Because the moment you decide that no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, you're not stopping. That's the moment your life starts to change. But let's be honest, most people don't want that version of success. They want the highlight reel without the behind the scenes. They want the applause without the preparation. They want the victory without the sacrifice. And that's why they stay stuck. Because success has a price, and the price is paid in discipline. Not motivation, discipline. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. It's there when things feel good, and it disappears when things get hard. But discipline shows up when you don't feel like it. Discipline moves when your mind is telling you to stop. Discipline keeps you going when there's no guarantee, no certainty, no immediate reward. And that's the difference between those who dream and those who do. Look at Henry Ford. Before he built an empire, he faced failure after failure. Businesses collapsed. Investors walked away. People doubted him. But he didn't stop because his vision was bigger than his fear. And that's where everything begins. Vision. If your vision is weak, your effort will be weak. If your vision is unclear, your actions will be scattered. But when your vision is strong, when you can see it, feel it, believe it with everything inside you, you'll do whatever it takes. You'll wake up earlier. You'll stay focused longer. You sacrifice comfort for growth because you understand something deeper. The life you want is on the other side of the work you're avoiding. And here's the part nobody tells you. The work doesn't get easier. You get stronger. The obstacles don't disappear. The obstacles don't disappear. You become more resilient. The doubts don't magically vanish. You learn to move forward despite them. That's growth. That's transformation. That's what separates average from exceptional. Because average people wait. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for the perfect plan. They wait for the perfect conditions. But exceptional people, they create. They create discipline when they don't feel like it. They create opportunities when none exist. They create momentum when everything feels slow. They don't wait for life to happen to them. They make it happen. And that's what you need to decide right now. Are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to start working? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, because the truth is, you'll never feel ready. Fear will always be there. Doubt will always whisper. Excuses will always exist. But so will opportunity. And every second you spend hesitating is a second someone else is using to get ahead. Someone else is waking up earlier. Someone else is putting in the reps. Someone else is building the discipline you keep postponing. And one day, when you finally decide to go all in, you'll realize they're already miles ahead. Not because they're more talented, not because they're more lucky, but because they were more willing to do the work. So ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Not in words, but in action. Because wanting something isn't enough. You have to earn it, and earning it requires consistency. Day after day, step after step, even when progress feels invisible. That's the part that breaks most people. They start strong. They feel motivated. They push hard. They feel motivated. They push hard. And then they don't see results fast enough. So they quit. They convince themselves it's not working. They tell themselves it's too hard. They look for something easier. But here's the reality. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. If it did, everyone would have it. The reason the reward is so valuable is because so few people are willing to pay the price. But you're not here to be average. You're not here to settle. You're here because something inside you refuses to accept the life of mediocrity. And that voice, that feeling, that burning desire, it's not there by accident. It's there because you're capable of more. But capability means nothing without action. You can have the talent. You can have the ideas. You can have the potential. But if you don't put in the work, none of it matters because potential without effort is wasted. And the world is full of wasted potential. People who could have been great. People who could have changed their lives. People who could have made an impact but didn't. Not because they couldn't, but because they wouldn't. They wouldn't wake up early. They wouldn't stay consistent. They wouldn't push through the discomfort. And that's the difference, not ability. Willingness. Are you willing to do what others won't? Are you willing to go further when it hurts? Are you willing to stay focused when it's boring? Are you willing to keep going when it feels like nothing is working? Because that's the work, and that's where the reward lives. Hidden behind effort, buried in discipline, waiting on the other side of persistence. So stop looking for shortcuts. We aren't any. Stop waiting for permission. You don't need it. Stop hoping it will be easy. It won't be, but it will be worth it. Every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt, every sacrifice you make, it's all building something stronger, something greater, something unstoppable, but only if you keep going. Because the moment you stop, the process stops, and the reward, it goes to someone else. And that's the part most people never recover from. Not the failure, not the struggle, but the moment they stopped when they were closer than they ever realized. Because success doesn't announce itself. It doesn't send you a message saying, you're almost there, just hold on. No, it tests you instead. It watches how you respond when progress is slow. It studies your reaction when effort feels invisible. It measures your character when quitting feels justified. And most people fail that test, not because they're weak, but because they expect a reward to show up before the work is complete. But it doesn't work like that. The reward comes after the work has changed you, not just your results, you. Because if success came too early, you wouldn't be ready for it. You wouldn't have the discipline to maintain it. You wouldn't have the mindset to protect it. You wouldn't have the resilience to handle what comes with it. So life delays it, not to punish you, but to prepare you. And every delay you're experiencing right now, it's not denial, it's development. It's building layers within you that can't be rushed. Patience, endurance, focus. These aren't things you download overnight. They earn through repetition, through failure, through showing up again and again when everything in you is tired of trying. And that's why the work matters so much, because the work isn't just about what you get. It's about who you become. You do. They go through the grind and come out the same person. You evolve. You start thinking differently. You start seeing obstacles as opportunities instead of excuses. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That shift right there, that's power. Because once you take responsibility for your growth, nothing can stop you. Not setbacks, not criticism, not fear. Because you understand that everything good or bad is part of your journey. And when you reach that point, you become dangerous. Not to others, but to your old self, to the version of you that used to hesitate, to the version of you that used to doubt, to the version of you that used to quit. That version doesn't exist anymore because now you've seen what you're capable of when you commit. And commitment is everything, not interest, not curiosity. What? Commitment. Interest says, I'll try. Commitment says, I'll find a way. Interest shows up when it's convenient. Commitment shows up no matter what. And that's what separates those who talk about success from those who live it. Because when you are committed, you don't negotiate with your excuses. You don't say, I'll do it later. You don't say, I'm not feeling it today. You do it anyway because your goals don't care how you feel. Your dreams don't adjust based on your mood. They require action, consistent, relentless, disciplined action. And here's where it gets even deeper. The work you're doing right now, it might not pay off today. It might not pay off today. It might not pay off tomorrow, but it is paying off in ways you can't yet see. Every hour you invest is building momentum. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're strengthening your foundation. Every time you refuse to quit, you are stacking evidence that you are different. And one day that invisible progress becomes you. That's when people start noticing. That's when they call you lucky. That's when they say it happened so fast. Well, you know the truth didn't happen fast. It happened because you didn't happen fast. It happened because you didn't stop. Because while they were waiting, you were working while they were doubting. You were building while they were complaining. You were proving. And that's the gap. That's the separation. That's why some people rise and others remain exactly where they are. It's not about talent. It's about tolerance. Your ability to tolerate discomfort, your ability to endure boredom, your ability to push through moments when nothing feels rewarding. Because let's be real, the journey to success is not exciting most of the time. It's repetitive, it's exhausting, it's lonely, doing the same things over and over again, hoping they compound into something greater. And that's where most people break. They need constant stimulation. They need immediate feedback. They need validation. But growth doesn't work like that. Growth is silent. It happens in the background. It builds slowly, layer by layer, until one day everything shifts. But only for those who stay consistent long enough to see it. So if you're in that phase right now where it feels like nothing is happening, where it feels like you're putting in effort but not getting results, good. That's where you're supposed to be. That's where the real work happens. That's where you prove to yourself that you're not just chasing results, you're committed to the process. Because when you fall in love with the process, the results become inevitable. Not immediate, but inevitable. And that's the mindset you need to adopt. Stop chasing outcomes. Start mastering habits. Because habits build identity. And identity shapes destiny. If you see yourself as someone who quits when it gets hard, you always find a reason to stop. But if you see yourself as someone who finishes what they start, who pushes through resistance, who does the work regardless of circumstances, then quitting isn't even an option. It's not who you are. And once that identity locks in, everything changes. Because now you're not forcing yourself to work. You're simply being who you are. Disciplined, focused, relentless. And that's when the game shifts in your favor. Because now you're operating at a level most people will never reach. Not because it's impossible, but because they're not willing to become that version of themselves. They want success without transformation. They want results without evolution. But you're different. You understand that to have something you have never had, you have to become someone you have never been. And becoming that person requires work. Uncomfortable work, unseen work, uncelebrated work, the kind of work that builds character when nobody's watching, the kind of work that tests your limits and then demands more, the kind of work that forces you to confront your weaknesses and either grow or stay stuck. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep avoiding the work? Or are you going to embrace it? Because the moment you stop running from the work and start running toward it, everything changes. The struggle becomes your teacher. The pressure becomes your advantage. The grind becomes your identity. And suddenly, what used to feel impossible becomes inevitable. Because now, you're no longer asking if it's possible. You've already decided. And that decision, that's where everything shifts. Because once you remove the option of quitting, your mind starts searching for solutions instead of excuses. You stop looking for comfort and start creating results. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start declaring, I will find a way. And that energy, that mindset, that level of commitment, it changes everything. Because now you're not just working, you're becoming the person who doesn't break under pressure. Becoming the person who shows up no matter how hard it gets. Becoming the person who keeps going when everyone else walks away. And let me tell you something most people don't understand. That version of you is rare, extremely rare, because most people will never push themselves to that level. They'll settle, they'll compromise, they'll convince themselves that this is enough. But you didn't come this far just to be average. You didn't endure all that pain just to quit now. You didn't start this journey just to stop when it gets uncomfortable. No, you came here to finish. You came here to rise. You came here to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you've ever imagined. And now it's time to go all in. No half effort, no second guessing, no holding back everything you've got. Everything you've got. Because the truth is, the life you want is not waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to become relentless. Relentless in your focus, relentless in your discipline, relentless in your pursuit of something greater. Because greatness isn't given, and it's earned through sweat, earned through sacrifice, earned through the moments where you wanted to quit, and that's what makes it valuable. That's what makes it yours. Because when you finally reach that level, when you finally break through, when you finally stand on the other side of everything you've been fighting for, you won't just have the reward. You'll understand it. You'll respect it. You'll appreciate every single step it took to get there. Because you'll remember the nights nobody saw. You'll remember the dub beats you had to silence. You'll remember the pain you had to push through. And in that moment, it will all make sense. But listen carefully. That moment is not built in the future. It's built right now. In this decision, in this second, in this choice to keep going when it's hard. Because every action you take today is either moving you closer to your reward or further away from it. There is no neutral, there is no standing still. You're either building momentum or losing it. So if you're tired, good. That means you're working. If you're uncomfortable, good. That means you're growing. If you're doubting yourself, good. That means you're stepping outside your limits. Because everything you want lives outside your comfort zone. And the only way to reach it is to go through the work, not around it, not under it, through it, step by step, day by day, no shortcuts. Because shortcuts don't build strength. Shortcuts don't build character. Shortcuts don't build the version of you that can actually handle success. And if you're not ready for success, success won't stay. So embrace the grind. Embrace the struggle. Embrace the process that most people avoid. Because that process, that's your advantage. That's your edge. That's what's going to separate you from everyone else who wants it, but isn't willing to earn it. And one day, when you look back at this moment, you won't remember how hard it was. You won't remember how many times you felt like quitting. You'll remember one thing. You didn't stop. And because you didn't stop, you became unstoppable. That's the reward. Not just the success, but the strength, not just the outcome, but the identity, not just what you achieve, but who you had to become to achieve it. So the next time you feel like slowing down, the next time you feel like giving up, the next time you feel like giving up, the next time your mind starts telling you it's too much, remember this, you can't have the reward without the work, And if you're willing to do what others won't, if you're willing to push when others stop, if you're willing to stay disciplined when others get distracted, then there is nothing that can keep you from what you're destined to become. No obstacle too big, no failure too final, no challenge too great, because you built something stronger than all of that. You built yourself. And a person who refuses to quit, a person who embraces the work, a person who shows up every single day with purpose, intensity, and discipline, that person doesn't lose. They learn, they grow, they rise again and again and again and again until one day the world has no choice but to recognize what they become. So stand up, lock in, and go to work, because your reward is waiting on the other side of everything you're avoiding, and it's not going to come to you. You have to go get it.